Hey folks, Triple Crown here. Happy Easter weekend again. This is a round 2 summary playtest series number 4 of the Global War 1939 game we're developing. So round 2, very interesting round. Some good, some bad, and we will focus on the good and the bad right away. We will start up here off of northern Scotland, the Sea Zone battle. The Luftwaffe sent their entire air force and their one submarine up here. Now, pro tip, folks, at the end of round 1, do yourself a favor in case the British decide to take out the remaining German fleet here, is to leave a couple submarines behind to counterattack. And that is precisely what at least for the Germans, even though they only had one submarine, they sent, I think it was 8 aircraft in combination with this one submarine to take out a destroyer and a Free French cruiser. And the British could have scrambled, however, that would have been the end of their air force. So they decided not to, and they did not score a hit in the counterattack. So that was significant there. The Germans did do their first build in Hungary and Romania. They built a couple Stug 3 tank destroyers, a Panzer Grenadier, and another Panzer Grenadier, and a couple infantry, trying to get some cannon fodder on the front. They played ping pong with the Russians in Valpuri in Finland, and they were able to do also a build to secure the Atlantic Wall, which is a 5 NO bonus. So they got a free Hedgehog fortification in Bordeaux, which is an automatic hit applied to the attacking forces. So that is a bonus there. They also built in France. The British decided, or the Free French decided to walk into Tripoli from Tunisia, and they took back Alexandria. And the Italians, they've got about 7 infantry there now, and a fortification and a fighter. So that is pretty significant for the Italians. The Italians also built another 5 units in Rome and another 2 infantry in Turin, and also decided to take back Rio de Oro. Now, the Germans did swallow up the remaining forces in France. Now, just talking to Captain G, he's got a fantastic point about the scorched earth. And that is, and I like this idea, so it's probably going to be something we adopt, is you cannot scorched earth unless you have a ground force remaining in that territory. So I like that because this is quite painful for the Germans to lose all of the air and naval bases in France this early in the game. It's going to make it much harder for them to defend, and it kind of makes sense. So I like that rule. Over here in Cairo, the British built a couple, 2 armor and a naval transport. They played ping pong with the Italians. They sent a submarine to do a naval blockade on the Italian Lend-Lease, and it was sunk. So I forgot to mention here, the Germans did build 4 more submarines here in Western Germany, and their 2 submarines that had survived went into convoy duty off of Canada and this territory here. So the British responded with the Canadians. They built 3 destroyers, and they flew a couple fighters back to Nova Scotia to Dartmouth for the scramble. And the Russian Navy made its way back. Now, something that only happens very rarely in this game, which is the Russian economy. So they rolled snake eyes, which is a double 1. So currently the Russian economy is only at 15. So they are in trouble. So they are probably going to have to decide how much money now, or how many forces they want to spend on this battle for Finland. The Germans did build a colonial factory in Helsinki, so they're able to produce 1 unit of any type there this turn or next turn. The British also took Italian Somaliland with their naval transport that was sitting here in South Africa. They grabbed the 2 guys and came up. and they did not sustain any casualties there. However, speaking of casualties, the battle here this round goes to the KMT and the CCP. The CCP were wiped out by the Japanese. However, almost every single Chinese or CCP infantry hit on defense this round, so it was a costly endeavor for the Japanese. And there's currently 2 stacks of units. The Japanese have a stack here sitting in Yunnan, and the KMT continue to build up in Chongqing Hoop. And the Japanese now have 3 minor ICs on the coast. They built a minor in Siam, and they are starting to produce units. And their Navy now is getting into position here in the Carolines to maybe head south. They've got a naval transport here with 2 units, and their northern flank of their Navy, they've got 2 light carriers and 2 heavy carriers with 2 naval transports here. They can start heading into the Pacific if they choose, and they've also got these naval transports sitting off of the eastern coast of Tokyo. The Australians came and took Java this turn, and the British took Borneo with this naval transport that was sitting here, and they did just a small build here, and the I'm knocking all the pieces everywhere. The Australians built another submarine, and the British built a destroyer at the factory in New Zealand. And their fleet here is still hiding in South Australia. So that is the summary here. The Japanese are making about 54 with their economy, or 52, I can't remember. And the Germans are making about 73 next turn they have to spend. So it's going to get interesting as they do the slow build to head east and start their Barbarossa attack. It's probably going to be a turn or 2 away, given the fact the Russians have rolled the snake eye. So, and it's also going to be interesting here what the Italians decide to do with their fleet. I haven't decided yet. Basically, it's all they've got some here just west of Gibraltar, and the bulk of their fleet east of Gibraltar. So, what do they want to do, and how do the British want to start this clearing of the Med, so to speak? So stay tuned for round 3, folks, coming up hopefully within the next 24 hours.